Welcome to Nigeria, the nation of nuptials. Over here, weddings are big, bold, and beautiful. Thousands of guests costing millions of naira. Planning properly is everything. Ibidun Itua Igodalo is a former beauty queen and now one of the top event planners in Nigeria. She's going to be your guide to planning your dream wedding.
In Nigeria, this is one place where we have fun. When it comes to weddings, it's beautiful, it's fabulous. People don't take it for granted. It's no joke in every family, you know, and I've come to share that experience with people and that day with people. So I'd like to take people through some tips, you know, on how to manage their budget and how to manage their day so that they can achieve their dream wedding. That's a good one. Oh my goodness.
I think we're done.
Say a big thank you to her.
Thank you.
You can play around with things like this. You don't have to always use flowers for everything.
Nigerian weddings are really unique.
My goodness.
You know, I don't know if it's like that anywhere else
in the world.
Venues like the Muzon Center in Lagos are popular. The manager has hosted hundreds of weddings here.
It's easier for them to do business here because, and to get married here, I mean, because it's mainly built for events like that. Got all the facilities, it's friendly, it's user-friendly, put it that way.
It's friendly,
And
it's
I'm
very
sure
friendly. And it's also very friendly for vendors.
Vendors are high selling, it's a plus, a big plus.
Yes.
The bars are there, the places for drinks are there, we've got a high stage. Understanding the culture of Nigeria makes it easier to run a place like this because a bride has a father, a mother, grandmother, grandfather, and the whole works. And everybody wants to be part of the wedding. It's about the only thing that they will come together, a joyous occasion for the girl who is getting married. And in that instance, you have a lot of people trying to come for the wedding and also bringing in all kinds of things they'd like to share with the parents, food, drink, all the works. It takes a heart to deal with it. And basically what I do is I try to plead with both parties, bridegroom side, bride side,
to manage them.
Yeah. And you have the heat for 2 hours and thereafter it's just sort of mellow and everybody's happy thereafter.
Right.
Once you've got the venue, you need to dress it up. Color coordination is everything.
Most brides like to work with their favorite colors. If she's a pink person, she would have dreamt about a pink wedding all her life. If she's a turquoise person, first she says my colors are turquoise and white. So the first thing they do, as soon as the groom proposes, is my colors are this and that. That's always the first thing they do. So when they come to us or when they come to Elizabeth R, we show them the color chart, but sometimes they get so confused that we have to explain the color chart to them so that they have options and we can tell them what works and what does not work. If a bride walks into Elizabeth R and says, oh, I'm getting married and my color is pink and gold, right? The first thing we do is we look at the chart and you can see that on the chart, the pink is 107 and then you look for the gold, which is 54, right? So you go straight to the things that are colors that this is what you usually pick out for her table linen. This is the color that you pick out for her table linen. This would go with her color coordination. For her chair covers, you do this, a gold chair cover like this. This is what you wear on the chair. People try their hands on a lot of stuff. Like they usually don't like their weddings to be like somebody else's, or like if you go for a wedding this week, it's wine and gold. The next week you don't want to walk into the same hall and your wedding is the same thing. So people like to try a lot of things apart from the fact that they have favorite colors. So you sometimes have to advise them on the color combination because they want to go out of the ordinary. You can imagine doing a purple and aquamarine. It may look nice if you coordinate it properly, but in terms of the pleating and putting it together, it may not really come out looking really good. But colors for me, you have to be careful how you coordinate it and how you put it together, and that's you have to advise your brides on how to, you know, combine the colors and make theirs different from somebody else's wedding. And then because of, you know, every invention, everybody wants their weddings to be different. You know, we invented this style, the ruffles, where you wear the chairs with this sort of ruffles. So if the bride says, oh, I want my colors to be pink, you can do this in pink. And then to coordinate it properly, you see the flowers going in this direction. So you can see those. This is the table linen. These are the flowers. Then the ushers. This is, you now see them. You know, this is what they would have to wear. Where ushers who would welcome the guest would have to wear things like that. Yeah? And you have the pink flowers on the table. And you have the table linen like that. So, you know, or that's an option. Or if the bride says she's a turquoise bride, this is a turquoise table or chair cover, right? And then you can play around with peacocks instead of flowers. Yeah? People, you know, you can play around with things like this. You know, like, you don't have to always use flowers for everything. There's another color combination that you can use. This is wine and gold. This is a beautiful one where, you know, this will be for the chair and this will be for the table linen. And if this is for the table linen, then you're looking at the flowers being something like that. So look at this color combo. It depends on exactly what you want. If you can't afford that sort of decor, instead of spending your money on fresh flowers, I would rather do artificial flowers and do stuff like, you know, just petals on the table. Things that people would, I mean, spend money on what is necessary, the food and the drinks. And you can still get a beautiful decor with simplicity and class. So what you need to do is you need to pick on the things that are not so important. Like the fresh flowers, after 3 days, they will definitely die. So you see, you can manage people's budget. No matter how much it is that they want to spend, you can give them a fantastic decor as long as they know what they're getting.
With challenges like an electricity supply that can't be relied on and the thirst of 1,000 guests that can, keeping the drinks flowing can be a tall order. Bola Okoli inherited her mother's soft drink store, and now she's built that tiny business into a multi-million naira drinks company serving cocktails and champagne at weddings around the country.
Usually in Nigeria, we are crazy about champagne. In a big wedding of, let's say, 2,000 people, and the person is rich, you can afford anything, 8,000 we have champagne. Then 1,000, let's say 500 non-alcoholic strictly. Then the remaining 500 people will go on beer and wine. The people that takes the EXO and all these spirits, they are not much. It's just like about 2%.
What about the white wine, the red wine?
Usually the demand for red wine is next to champagne. The champagne is the first thing, the higher demand. Then the next one is the red wine. For the white wine, maybe just 1%. But usually we do more of red wine and champagne than white wine.
Okay, so if you want to help people at their functions to manage their drinks, and you want them, you know that the event is going to last longer than expected, which usually happens most of the time.
Most of the time.
You would usually serve a lot of red wine first. Am I correct?
Yes, you are very correct. You see, in the case of the red wine thing, we have to push it out. Because if you don't push the red wine out first and you come with the champagne, nobody is going to dare take the red wine except you're a red wine person. Yeah. That on a good day it is usually red wine that you drink. The champagne drinkers, they are very good at it. In a table of 10 people, you can have 4 bottles down in 20 minutes.
They drink it like water?
Yes.
How come? Why?
I don't know. But I think it's nice.
Okay, this is how you set up your bar at an event, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. This is beautiful. Now, for people who can't afford this sort of setup, who can't afford a certain number of champagne to be served, how do you manage them so that they don't feel, they're not embarrassed and people don't really notice that champagne was not really in that party? How do you do that?
Well, quite a lot of time that we make sure that we don't bring it out early enough, because you bring it out in the next 1-2 hours, the thing is finished.
Right.
So we don't bring it out. I think it's just the timing. Then apart from that, there's some other things that we usually practice sometimes.
Like what?
Like white wine.
Okay.
We can actually have a white wine,
yeah,
to be colored.
Right, so it looks like champagne.
So when you serve it,
so when you see it, you think it's
so
champagne.
before you know it's not actually champagne, it's already in your mouth.
That's a good one. That's a good way to manage clients. They'll be so grateful to you. I have brides and I have clients who can't afford to pay millions of naira to buy champagne. How would you help them to solve that problem where you know that these people can't afford it? What advice would you give them?
My number one advice is for everybody to just be yourself. Don't over satisfy anybody. It is what you give people in a wedding that they will take. Yes. They're not coming to your wedding because they want to have like about 2-3 bottles of champagne. They're there to rejoice.
Wow, my goodness. This is the kitchen. This is where all the food comes out from. How do you do it?
Well, you can see this is our industrial kitchen, our pride and joy. Chefs here are just preparing for a wedding. We practically perform magic here.
You're a genius at this thing.
Thank
now,
you.
I need you to tell my viewers the tips on how to get the dream wedding with the lowest budget, whatever amount of money they have. Just tell me just tips on how to manage them in terms of food.
Okay, I think for a wedding, the important thing is you have to start planning really early, and it's good to get us involved as early as possible.
Right.
So that you let us know what your dream wedding is, the sort of food you're looking for. And then we will work with you. We'll give you several suggestions. Obviously, this can take a while, keep going and coming until we actually agree the menu.
Okay.
And if you're the beauty of having a kitchen like this is that, we can actually work to your specifications. Okay. Yes, if you want it to be mainly continental food, we can do that very easily. If you want it to be Nigerian food, pounded yam, eba, moi moi, kokore, we can also do it.
How do you determine the menu for a certain wedding, for a certain function?
Okay, usually we, as I said, we have a meeting, long in advance of the wedding, and then it depends on where the part of the country the person is from.
Right.
Now, if I have someone from the north, obviously
it has to be another.
It has to be
menu.
fashioned, yes, after their menu, and then I will bring in cooks who can cater for the northern taste.
Right.
Yes. If I have a Kanuri client, I'll have to go and look for Kanuri cooks.
Fantastic.
If I have a Yoruba client, I sort of know what they want, but
right.
obviously it just depends on who the client is and what they want. So we can swing from, have menus from all over the country, and also we can have menus from abroad and all over the world.
In this part of town, people take cookery for granted, the table setting for granted. I want you to explain what makes you different from everybody else.
The proprietors of Oleander are well traveled, and we've seen how weddings are done elsewhere. We've seen the beautiful table settings.
Right.
I think the wedding is not just about food, and food is the main element. The food has to be tasty, it has to be well presented. Also, the table setting is very important. It must be right. Therefore, in a wedding, you just go that extra mile. There's something everyone knows about Oleander. You go to any function and you see our beautifully starched white linen napkins.
Yes.
That is oleander. Once you get in there and you see the beautifully starched white napkins, that's everybody knows oleander is catering.
We both experienced events where you have to manage people. As soon as they walk into venues, how do you manage the mood and how you control their appetite and their demand for food as soon as they walk into the venue? How do you manage that?
Okay. Well, usually when we're catering for a wedding reception, if the bride and the groom, if it's a Christian wedding, we all know that there's usually quite a long church service.
Right.
And the minimum length of church service, as we all know here, is 2 hours. Sometimes it's 3 hours.
3 hours.
And then the photographs. So sometimes you might have been at church for 3 hours.
Wow.
And then it's all hot, and you get to the wedding reception. It's a nice air-conditioned marquee or a hall, and the first thing you want is a cold drink and what we call small chop. Now, for us in Orlando, we call them pre-lunch bites. So, for instance, we would serve things like crostinis. We have a bakery, so we have a lot of pastries. We would serve vol au vents, we would serve mini tartlets, and then obviously we'll serve Nigerian small chop, spring rolls, samosas, snails.
So that serves as a starter.
That serves like a like a starter. Yes, because the moment you come in hot and bothered, you want a cold drink and you want something, you know, to cool you down and something in your mouth.
Okay. So, what's going on here?
Well, no one comes into this kitchen without contributing one way or the other. So let's test your culinary skills.
Wow.
And guess what it is I'm going to ask you to make?
What?
Moi moi.
Oh my goodness, you're kidding. No.
Yes, that's the test of a good Nigerian cook. So let's see how good you are.
Okay. Wow.
And I will also make mine whilst you are making yours.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Let's see whether you can...
I can beat you to it.
Yeah, let's try.
Okay. This is interesting.
You fold the leaves.
Oh my goodness.
And then you have to fold them over. Dip your hands in.
Inside.
Yeah.
And
then put a scoop. Every Nigerian wedding should have moi moi.
Yes.
I think that's fine. Just one scoop, so it's not too big.
Okay, so this I have to put in. It's called...
A little. That's a bit
in Nigeria, it's called moi moi of elenimeje. That means it's so rich. Like everything is so, it's inside. It's so rich and it's so full. And that's the egg. Yes. So you have everything intact, and then you fold it nicely like that.
And fold over.
And then you fold over.
And you place it in the pot.
Wow. See?
And let's hope yours doesn't pour.
No.
Okay, let's see.
That's it.
Okay, so we'll put my moi moi is accompanied by rice.
Okay.
Jollof rice with fish or chicken or beef.
Okay.
And then the other thing you have to have at weddings, even if you're on a low budget wedding, is pounded yam.
Okay.
With egusi soup.
Okay.
And you know that in Yoruba they say pounded yam is the king of all swallow foods.
All the time.
So we put it in our cold rooms, and then we know we can heat it up again. And then when we get to the venue, we put it in our chafing dishes.
Ooh-wee. That's it. Wow. I tried. I mean, out of 10, I made a mistake.
I think she's got enough to take home now.
Okay, so now this is wrong. This is what do we do with this? This is so wrong. Now, so we have to let it go, right?
Yeah, we have to let that go. At this stage, I think we have to.
I think we're done.
Say a big thank you to her.
Thank you. Thank you. Without music at weddings these days, I mean, you're just gonna have people just wonder. It's like not having food at your reception or at your function. Especially local music right now, it's more popular. There are very few musicians who do not have wedding songs on their album. Nice has got one. One Day has got one. D'banj has got one. Something about Suddenly You Don't Make Me Fall in Love. You know, they make sure that they have one wedding song that the couple can dance into the hall to. The wedding dance starts from the parents of the day. No, before you get to the couple, the mothers have to go. They will go from the beginning of the hall with their friends. They will take their time and they will rock and roll it. They look forward to that part of the day. If you want to try any mother of the bride or mother of the groom, don't give her that opportunity. I'm telling you, she's going to have your head. When it's time for the couple to come in, it's so important that by the time I sit with my couple and we're talking about songs, they're very particular about the songs that the DJ must play or the band that was hired for that day must play. And then you have a long queue of bridesmaids and friends leading them. So it's such important that everybody has to give them a standing ovation for them to dance in. They're so happy, surrounded by their friends, and they go all the way down. You can see the bride on the floor. She's so happy. She's rocking and rocking, and the groom wants to beat her, and all it till they get to the very, and everybody is just watching them. Standing ovation, so you see that part for both the bride and the groom is always so much fun. As a matter of fact, the groom sometimes surprises people. Will take backslides. Some of them will just remove their jackets because they're so excited. They lose control and they forget themselves. Why? Because they're very happy. And then you hear the friends clapping and hailing them and clapping and just because their friends are clapping and calling their names, the whole place just goes wow.